Hello, welcome to TTNT, Topics I Need Talk. I'm your host, Jess. Today's episode is going to be about the new way of making friends online. This isn't a new topic, really. It's been highly discussed and debated upon those in their personal groups or those on a wider stance on social media. Those that just have more of an audience to them. This isn't something new, but I just wanted to throw my opinion out there. Making friends online can, fully admit, be a dangerous slope because you don't always know who you're talking to on the other end. So of course, always take the proper precautions to make sure that you're not giving out personal information here and there, putting yourself at risk of being hurt, and at the very bottom line, killed. So it's always a slippery slope. But at the same time, those that do luck out, that are talking to actual genuine people that do not have nefarious intentions, then that's great. We don't necessarily talk about it too much because we're always told you should at least make friends while you're out with friends. Somewhere in a more open area and already face to face. That's not easy to do as an adult. I remember one conversation I had with my brother. He looked and said, Jess, sometimes I have to stop and realize I don't have as many friends as I thought I do. And I looked at him and I just questioned, why does he think that? He goes, because to be quite frank, the friends that you make in high school, and he looked at me and goes, and those in college, that's it. They're just going to be your best friends for the rest of your life. Those are your lifelong friends. It's harder to make friends as an adult because you just don't feel like putting in the effort. You don't have time to put in the effort, or you just can't put in the effort due to whatever it may be. And I really had to stop and think about it and go, when was the last time I made a friend? And in this category, I had to exclude my work friends because you're always going to make those friends, but it's upon you to hang out with them outside of work, because we can do that at work where you have your work friend, your work family, but you will never be with them outside of work. That's it. You just keep the relationship there and you move on to those that you've known for years. But outside of my work friends, I had to really stop and think, wow, when was the last time I made a new friend? I consider myself a social butterfly. I love meeting new people, getting to know their stories, where they came from, and just meeting their families. I love meeting new people. And it's the whole aspect of, you're not me. I don't experience your life. I want to know more about it. And I consider myself an easy person to talk to. I can just have people just open up to me, and I am a willing listener. I like to listen. Yeah, I like to talk, but to listen to someone else's story with the full intent of just absorbing every word they say, as long as, of course, it's true, then I absolutely love that in a conversation. I'm like, yes, tell me more. I want to know more about you. But no, it can get hard to make friends as an adult because you're so fine with the people that you know now. So, of course, being in my early 20s still, I do still make friends online. But of course, being an adult and always know the precautions and the warnings and the dangers of it, I'm very careful. I do all the necessary safety steps. I made a few friends online that have become my great friends for over a year now. And yes, we always laugh because we both made the necessary safety steps. We didn't give out any personal information. We were just very bare minimum. But then we got comfortable, we would Skype so we could actually see each other face to face to prove, are you a weirdo? Do I need to call the cops to help save the citizens of the nation? We were very safe about it. And we give a stigma to those that are just like, oh, I have friends online that are not from the state, but I've done the necessary steps. We're like, well, why don't you make friends in person? Why not go to your favorite spots and make friends that way? We can do that, sure, easy said, but not easy done. Whenever we go to our favorite spots, let's say, I'll use myself for example, as I typically do, because it's easier to speak of my own experience. I love to read, so sometimes I'll go to a bookstore. I'll buy a book and I'll see others in the same section. But it's a bookstore. They are also looking to buy a book, whether it be a new series or the next book to a series that they're currently reading. Not everyone likes to be approached in these areas. So I tend to leave people as they are. Unless they approach me on a book that I'm holding, or I approach them on a book that they're holding, I get the information that I want and then I move on. Not everyone's looking to make a friend that day. And even if they are, not everyone has the courage to make that first move on, oh, that's really cool. You seem like a really cool person. You want to hang out? It's not easy for everyone. Wherever you go that brings you happiness and others happiness may not be the best time to approach someone to make a new friend. And that's not simple. That's just not a simple concept. Because yes, it's a place where people go because it brings them happiness or some type of serenity within them, but it may not be where they want to be approached. You can say that for anywhere outside of a bookstore. Be like, oh, I love this little cafe and I like to just sit here, drink my beverage, and then kind of just move on. See others doing the same thing, or someone else is reading their book, typing on a computer, meeting up with people. Not everyone wants to be approached. It's just not as simple as we like to think it is. And that should be acknowledged and talked about, saying, well, why don't you make friends in person? How about you go to your own places and do the same thing? Some people just want to be left alone, and that's why they go there. It brings them a solace that they were looking for. And I am that way in bookstores. I don't necessarily like to be approached unless we're just talking about the book and then we move on. Or even in restaurants, I go out to eat with myself because I'm hungry and it doesn't bother me. And I may see someone else eating alone, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go up and talk to them. I don't like to be talked to when I'm eating. Not all the time. I just want to eat, enjoy my space, and then go. But to make friends online, it kind of takes it into a different scope of it's on your own time to do it, in your own comfort. And you guys can't control the pacing of how much information you want to give, how fast is this friendship going to go, or is this a friendship forming at all? Because it could just be oh, you just seem really cool, thanks for chatting with me, and never speak to them again. And there's no harm in that either. I like to tell people whenever I go out to events, and it might be just me going, yeah, I had a friend for a day. That's it. Just a friend for a day. We became friends at the event, we chatted, we laughed, we had a great time. Never spoke to them after. And it's not rude, and it's not inconsiderate, because it's kind of an unspoken thing between you. Know this isn't going to go anywhere, but you're fine with it right now. And a lot of people do it and may not realize they do that. Still, there's nothing wrong with that. But mostly making friends online can be so much easier, so much of a comfort zone for people. It can just be a similar aspect on, hey, I have the time now, or I can't, because you can have social anxiety or a social awkwardness about you that can make it harder for people to open up to you or for you to approach others. Whatever it may be, take your time, it's your life, go at your own speed. But to make friends online, you can get to know people, and sometimes, for myself, it can be through video games. I don't play online, but I know a lot of the gaming communities, so I'll talk to them there and just kind of revel in how our experiences are with the game so far. And we'll make friends that way, and we'll just start exchanging like different video game ideas or theories, because those could be really fun to come up with. And then that's it. We became friends this way. We may not know much about each other, but we're fine with keeping it that way. But I do consider them my friend. There shouldn't be any stigma around making friends online, as long as it's being done safely and correctly. Always take care of yourself first before you help others. You are all you got. But it shouldn't be that bad to say, oh, I have a friend online. It shouldn't be. I shouldn't get weird looks. I shouldn't get, well, aren't you scared that they may not be who they are? Of course I am. That's a necessary fear. But do you not think I took the necessary precautions? And it's fine to just double check on a friend, saying, I just want you to be safe. I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. I just want you to be safe because I care for you. Though, to make a friend online can also be difficult. Some people, of course, aren't nice. they have nefarious intent or lascivious intent behind it as well. And it could just go south very quickly. But don't be afraid to know that you can back out. You are not stuck in anything forever. You always have the option to leave. Never forget that. Even in online friendships, you always have the option to leave. But when those go south, it can feel smaller in a place where we're connected to anyone in the world. It can feel very small all of a sudden. But they are not the only person to speak to. You can always find someone else to talk to and make a friend that way. There's, of course, a lot of pros and cons between the topic of today, but I just wanted to throw mine out there. And that's the new way of making friends online. You've been listening to TTNT, Topics I Need Talking, and that's the new way of making friends online. You've been listening to TTNT, Topics I Need Talking with Jess. Next week's episode will be about sex and the perception of sex. If you want to reach out to me, I have a Twitter. If you want to create a discussion over there and just speak to me and see my thoughts on any other topic that either you think needs talking or just want to talk about what we discussed in this episode. You can comment below and I'll see and respond to it, or like your comment to at least indicate that I read it. My Twitter handle is in the description below. Have a good day, you guys. Be happy. Stay safe.